Congressman Jodey Arrington chairs the House Budget Committee. A question for you. You're in charge of putting together a House Republican budget plan. How does that differ from what Kevin McCarthy needs to do this week on the debt ceiling?
Well, the budget resolution is a 10-year framework. The president just submitted his late. We're conducting oversight on that, and we're working on the resolution. Meanwhile, you have a shorter window to negotiate the debt ceiling and include fiscal reforms, which, by the way, we've done a number of times. President Biden has been involved in those negotiations as a senator and vice president, and that's what we're doing to send a debt limit legislation that responsibly lifts the debt limit, pays our bills, but also reins in the reckless spending that has created a firestorm of inflation, soaring interest rates, and is putting us close to a sovereign debt crisis, which would be one that you can't print enough money or borrow enough to bail out from. That's what we're focused on today.
The urgency of getting this done increased when the Treasury Department realized that less tax money had been coming in this year than the year before, which means all the things that they're doing to try to push this debt limit deadline past is like it actually could happen mid-June. So that's why there is some urgency. Kevin McCarthy on with Maria yesterday. Let's listen to him here.
We do have a very small majority, only 5 seats, one of the smallest we've ever had. But I cannot imagine someone in our conference that would want to go along with Biden's reckless spending. We're raising the limit responsibly, but we're looking at our fiscal house and curving the waste, limiting the growth in the future, saving us taxpayer money, but also growing the economy by making us energy independent and getting us cutting red tape so we can build things in America.
Congressman, the House Speaker's office is saying that Biden is irresponsible for not being willing to come to the table and negotiate. The White House is saying that this is an untenable situation, that Kevin McCarthy needs to come to the table and negotiate. Are we closer to getting anyone to the table to actually work this out so that moms and dads out there are not going to have to look at what would be the consequences of a sovereign debt crisis?
Well, Speaker McCarthy's been at the table, and he has offered to negotiate with the president. Now we're going to put our terms on a piece of paper, get 218 Republicans, and we're going to put the ball in their court, so to speak. Look, this president has spent $10 trillion in 2 years, $6 trillion of which has been added to the national debt. I talked about inflation, but the list of things that this president has done, when you've got $31 trillion in debt, which is 25% larger than the largest economy in the world, the U.S. economy. I mean, the unilateral spending on the student debt cancellation. We've got tens of billions of dollars in unspent COVID money. That's low-hanging fruit. There's a number of common sense spending controls that we could put in place, like President Biden had done in the past, again, as senator and vice president. And I think the American people, who, by the way, have tightened their belt and had to change their spending habits, expect their federal government and their nation's leaders to do the same. So I think this is very reasonable, but I think it's irresponsible for the president not to show up to these negotiations.
All right, Congressman Jodey Arrington, we'll be paying attention as you crunch all those numbers. Appreciate it. Thank you.